Okay, I'm going to attempt, actually, truly attempt to bring a big, huge, sensitive subject into language that can be understood and processed. So wish me luck. Pray for me. You're like, whatever. By the time we see this, you've already done it. Pray for me and send prayers to my past self. How about that? All right, so here's the deal. I have seen, it's already difficult, so just bear with me here. This is what it looks like sometimes. And I've really thought about this, and I've meditated on this and everything, and it's still, when it comes down to putting it into language, there is some stickiness there, because it's one of those things that doesn't really like to be seen. It's one of the tricks that our egos can use against us. And it's one of the things that we can stay in. It's an energy we can stay in for many years that can keep us stuck. Now, again, you guys know, I hope you know by now that I'm never judging that. But I do want to be able to speak to it. So here's the thing. For those of us who had traumatic childhoods, and that's most of us, honestly, and it can mean a lot of different things. So if you were traumatized by your childhood, you don't have to defend that to anybody. It doesn't have to be a certain amount of bad for that to be have affected you, right? I'm going to put this down so I can use my hands. If you were in a situation as a child where either you felt or believed that there was something that you could do to protect yourself or stay safe from abuse, whether that's you getting yelled at, you getting spanked, you getting beat, you getting molested, you being shamed, mocked, any of those things, okay, left, whatever that looks like, whatever brand of your trauma that was so, if there was a part of you that believed that there was something that you could do to stop it or to avoid it in the first place, this does something very specific to our psyches. And I've watched this play out for myself and for many dear friends and for many clients. So I know that this is real. I don't have to be a psychiatrist with a degree to see this pattern, but it's not something we usually talk about. Even it could be to the point where the person abusing you or the people abusing you made it seem like there's something that you could do to stop it, that there's something you could do to affect it in some way, right? To avoid it. Now, I also want to pull this forward into adulthood, into an abusive relationship, an abusive marriage, maybe, where, well, if I wouldn't have to scream in your face if you would listen the first time. What happens with this dynamic is extremely confusing. It's one of the deepest ways to gaslight somebody, is to abuse and then make them believe that it's their fault, that there's something that they could have done differently to not have the abuse. And what it can do, I'm not saying it does this every time, although I've seen it do this over and over and over, is that it can create in our present selves, okay? So whether this is coming from your childhood, coming from, marriages, whether it's coming from both, which is typically the case. We don't commonly have very healthy childhoods and then put up with huge amounts of abuse in relationships. But I guess there could be exceptions to that, right? But there can be an element or a dynamic that's created in our current selves, our adult selves, where we are obsessed with understanding why, with figuring things out. I have to know why. I can't move forward in my life until I understand the why. Okay? And I'm going to go more into that, but I want you to kind of get this correlation here. Because when we have had experiences like that, what the belief is, what the illusion is that if we understand, it keeps us safe. I just want you to feel into that for a minute. Okay, this isn't going to be relevant for every single one of you. It's impossible to do that. But for those of you that I'm speaking to right now that recognize yourself in that first description, okay? And I probably will put a trigger warning on this video. I don't want you to just like wake up all happy and cheerful in the morning and then, go straight into this. So there'll be a trigger warning on this video. Think about your deep obsession. I use that word very deliberately. Compulsion to understand why. I can't clean my house until I understand why it's dirty in the first place. I can't lose weight until I understand why I'm overweight in the first place. And it is like we don't feel safe until we understand and figure out why. Okay, something can be very, very understandable and not be powerful. And that's, I believe, truly the case for this. Now, I want to do a disclaimer here. I'm not saying that it's not useful to know the why. What I am saying is that we can't always know the why. And we've like a lot of these things, we've talked about elements of this in the past on these videos. And if we always have to wait until we figured it all out before we take action, we're not going to take action. But when it's coming from this specific place, when it's coming from a belief that understanding keeps us safe because we believed as children that if we understood all the dynamics behind what was happening, that we could stop it and or avoid it, it goes deep. And how we deal with things that are very subconscious, very deep in our psyches, is we've got to pull them up to the surface and talk about them, right? We've got to be willing to shine light on it. Can you feel that your egos are resisting this? Can you feel that there's a piece of you that doesn't want to have this conversation? And that's because our egos love to keep us stuck. That's how they get to continue to live, right? And for the sake of this conversation, I want to separate the two types of ego. So there's ego, there's our human self that needs a certain amount of that deep humanity to keep us showering and eating and exercising and putting clothes on our naked bodies. Okay, there's the healthy ego. And what I'm speaking more to here is that the ego that has to be always separate, that has to stay broken to stay alive, that has to be special in its brokenness. That's the ego I'm talking about here. And it doesn't want you to see this because it for those of you that this resonates with, it is a big part of what is keeping you stuck and creating the same patterns over and over and over. So who are you? I want you to just kind of acknowledge in your own mind, who are my people who feel like they have to understand why before they can move forward? And doesn't it feel so effing true? Doesn't it feel true? So I, in case you can't tell, have been one of those people, and I still have quite a few moments of this. I'm a figure-outer. And I'm just going to acknowledge for myself, I'm not going to speak for you because I don't know your whole story. But I want to acknowledge for myself that me trying to understand why didn't stop a damn thing. That as a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old, me trying to be good, me trying to say the right thing, not say the wrong thing, be really well behaved, all of the different, many hundreds of things I did to try to stop or avoid my own brand of childhood abuse, none of it worked. So what makes us think that it's going to work now? So what if the holdup in moving forward and getting unstuck in our lives is not understanding? It's not that there's something else we need to figure out. Because if it was about that, I'm pretty sure that we would have figured it out by now. Okay? But I want us all to take a minute to acknowledge how understandable it is that our younger self would have decided that safety lies in understanding. Okay? Can we all just take a minute to send some big time love and support to our past selves, to our sweet little child selves, to our 20-something-year-old self that put up with, abuse in a marriage? Let's just take a minute to do that. And then let's come back, right? Let's come back to our present self, which you guys know I do. I'm 49, I'm 49, I'm 49, I'm 49, right? However old y'all are, come back into this present self and look at where you are not moving forward because you feel like you need to understand. Whew. For sure mine is actually, ironically, coffee with Dawni. I believe so much in what I do here, in this connection and this support and this encouragement and this information and this knowledge and this love that I hope you guys feel from me every morning. And yet I have felt like I can't really put it out there. I can't really be big with it until I understand exactly what it's giving people. What is the benefit? Well, it's probably a different benefit to every one of you. Okay, so this is one way that I've been keeping myself stuck from moving forward, and because I'm telling myself I have to know why. Detailed. I got to understand it all, you guys. I have to understand. I know I'm not the only one. Who else out there? I want your hand raised back, in your living rooms, in your cars as you're driving. Who's with me on this? Okay, so guess what we're going to do? We are going to shift this today. We're going to start this shift, this paradigm shift. And we are going to go from a why to a because. Okay? You guys, we can't always know the why. Oh, I know I've said this before, but I want you to hear this with me. We cannot always understand the why. I want to know why my paranoid schizophrenic father did the things he did. How am I going to know why? I can't ask him. He can't give me a straight answer to save his life. Right? Even how many of you, your abusers are dead now? They're not in your life anymore. They don't tell the truth anyway. They don't know why. Okay? There are many situations where it is literally impossible to fully understand. So we've got to give it a because. So I'm going to give you a specific, I'm going to go back to my example of Coffee with Dawni, and I'm going to, instead of why would people out there want to listen to me every morning? And especially one of my is like, why would they want to see this face? Holy cow. Get sick of seeing this face. I get sick of seeing my own face, right? So I can only imagine what it's like for you guys. Why? It's uninspiring. I can't know. But because I'm putting, right, Coffee with Dawni out there because I love you. Because I love teaching and sharing information and holding space. Because I love providing support in any way that I possibly can. Because the because is here. The because is over here in my power. So once I start going into the because, I get really inspired and I get really excited. And I go in and start posting about Coffee with Dawni and reaching out to people. So let's take this into your situation. Where are you stuck because you feel like you need more understanding before you can move forward? So let's go into the example of having a messy house. Okay, why is my house so messy, right? And I'm not saying you go into because my house is so messy because. I'm saying you go into, I'm going to clean and organize my house because. So you go into the because, you're doing this because. I'm going to clean and organize my house because I want workability. Because I deserve to have an organized, clean space to work in. Because I have peace of mind when my home is organized. Can you start to see the because? How the because is here and the why is over there. So let's give it a different example. Why am I 60 pounds overweight? What trauma happened to me? What generational stuff is there? Okay? Shifting that into, I am going to take care of my body and eat right and exercise because I love myself, because I say so, because I know that I can, because I am so much more effective in serving the world when I'm healthy, because I can play with my children outside for longer when I'm healthy and I've, released some weight. So I guess in a way this video is actually partially to look in the subconscious and bring something to light, and it's partially a call to action. A paradigm shift. Who is willing to create the paradigm shift of going from the why that you don't have power over to the because that you have absolute say over? Who's with me? Come on, let's do this together. Part of the point of Coffee with Dawni is because I want us to do these things together. Even though we're not in the same room, I truly believe that when a group puts an energy towards something, it creates momentum. I really, really want to hear back from you on this one, even if you just want to private message me. I want to hear, is this true for you? Did you believe as a child or as a young adult that if you understood that you would keep yourself safe? And how is that affecting you in the present? And I'm sending love straight back to every single one of your past selves. To every single one of your young selves. Okay? Young can mean a month old and young can mean 25. I'm sending that back to every single one of those beautiful, beautiful humans. That they can feel their own power. that their minds can be at peace, and that can come forward to you, to your present day self. I love you. I got you. I believe in you. May your coffee be strong, and may your why turn into a because. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. It really helps out my channel. And if you would be interested in working with me further, you can check out DawniAngel.com. I would love to come speak to your group, come to your business to do a training, be on your podcast, my personal favorite, or even work with you one-on-one.